Hello potential client, thank you for watching this video. In this video, I'd like to talk about my game development process and how I do things at Game Designer Online. Step 1. Module definition. A module, in simple words, is just a list of tasks. The purpose of the module is to complete a portion or part of the game that can be used with other parts of the game, thereby completing the game in a modular fashion. So a module can be a character controller. A module can be user interface screens, which when combined with other modules will make the complete game. An example of a module is character controller, where I will be tasked to make a complete character controller which will allow you to test the controls of the game. However, the requirements of the character controller must be clear, such as how the character should move, the input method that will be used, and any other features that you want me to include in the game. These may also include animations and features such as jumping. These I will request you to write in a document so I can be precise. The price that I will give you will be for that module, and I work using a fixed price. Probably the most important step is step 2, which is gathering requirements. I will also ask you during this step whether you have the assets required for the game or not, as if the assets you do not have, I may request you to get them created. So before starting the module, we will gather requirements to give you exactly what you want. And as mentioned in bullet point 2, during this period, I may ask you to provide assets if you have any, or request you to get concept art, sprites, 3D models, animations, environments, or any other asset that you want in the game made. We will then talk about how to use the assets only to complete the current module, and also plan slightly ahead about where these will be used in the future. So if you give me an environment, a 3D environment, or even a 2D environment, I should have a general idea of where this will be used in the future so I can code accordingly, or tell my team of developers to code accordingly. So step 3 is an optional step, however, it is highly recommended as this will reduce the chance of failure. In order to be 100% clear about the requirements, you may opt to have a dedicated graphic designer or 3D animator to implement the design of the game. So we'll have a visual representation of the game before it is made. The purpose of this will be to give a visual representation of what the game will look like before a single line of code is written. For example, for a 2D platformer, a graphic designer can show a portion of the level with the character fighting enemies. The example that I'll show you is taken off the internet. This is not my work. That's a disclaimer. I'll show it to you right now. So you can see that in this image, I can clearly see that you will require 3 lives. You also need coins, and you also have this little image over here, which you can see. And in this image, there is a number right next to it. This is probably going to indicate how many swords I have, which I can throw at the character, at the enemy character. So this is giving me a clear idea of the features that you require. You need a live system, that is also a module. You'll need a coin system, that is also a module. You'll need a system where you can throw swords at the enemies. That is also a module. Then you need a character, and the character has got a jump function, a sword, I believe it's a sword throwing function, as there is a sword throwing button, and you also have arrows, so you can jump, move left and right. But if I look at this, I can easily tell that you do not need a crouch function. So if a design like this is given to me, I can easily tell what you actually require. And also, since I can see the enemies, probably I'll ask you what the enemies should do, as enemy AI can be very complex. It can also be very simple. So that is something that we will talk about if your game actually has enemies. So step 4 is when we will actually put all of your assets into a Unity project and start writing code or I'll ask my in-house designers to start creating levels or any other graphics that you may require if you have certain assets still missing. So step 4 is project creation in Unity plus submission of assets. So I will request you to submit the assets. I will use the assets to create a new Unity project for your game. I will start working on the module. So if it's a character controller, I will ask you just to give me the images of the character with the animations, which can be PNG animations or sprite sheets, and I will only ask for those. I will request that an order be placed when around 20% of the module is complete, so I do not ask the client to place an order immediately or set up a payment immediately. I ask them to first give me the assets, let me complete about 20% of the work, and then we will place an order. So that way I can actually get your feedback, and if I am doing what you want, then we will move forward with the payment or the creation of an order, as then I will know for certain that what I'm doing is correct. If I'm not doing it correctly, it doesn't make sense to set up an order anyway, because what I'm giving you is not what you require. I will submit test builds to you before moving on to the next module task. During this stage, you can ask for modifications if required, as we will only move forward once you have approved the test build. Now step 5 will be the new module definition, as by step 4 we will probably be done with the module if you've approved it. This is also, during this time, I'm also going to ask you to release the funds if I have delivered the source code for the approved work. During development, these are the things that I want you to know. Test builds will be provided to you during development of a module whenever a feature is added, so you can test the build and provide your feedback. This is to make sure that we are giving you exactly what you want, not what we think that you want. During this process, you can ask for modifications, after which we will give you another test build after the modifications are made. So during this time, you can ask for modifications. However, once work is approved, we cannot modify approved work. This is not something that we do. During development, part 2, we will use the Waterfall methodology of software engineering, which is something that we use. We just use the Waterfall methodology. This means that once a module is approved or a test build is approved, no further changes for that feature module part can be requested. The source code of the module will be delivered to you, the entire project files, everything that we have done with all of the assets. Nothing will be obscure. Everything will be given to you every time a module is complete. This is also the time during which we will request you to release the funds for that module from you. So the source code is valuable. You approved the work. I'm going to give you the source code, and I'll ask for the payment for that amount of work that we have done. Please note, we do not offer any revisions, as in we do not revise approved work, for the final source code once it is delivered, the complete game. So if the complete game is delivered and it's not a test build, it's the complete game, and you have already approved all of the previous work, and now we are about to deliver the complete game to you, we are not open to revising the complete game that has already been approved or that has already been tested. And since we are completing the game in a modular fashion, the complete game is basically the last module. We are, however, open to small modifications, updates in the future as the game gains a user base, developing the game further, and fixing any game-breaking bugs if found. So remember that we are always going to be open for a period of 14 days to fix any game-breaking bug that you may find. Also, if the game-breaking bug is extremely bad, which is very rare, we will fix that even if 14 days have passed. However, we are not open to revisions, and we do not offer revisions on the final source code. We will already be giving you plenty of test builds where you can ask for modifications if you find a problem. Okay, let me talk about the Game Designer Online team. I have 2 artists and 2 developers. They're independent contractors. We also have other independent contractors which we can use for who we can contact for help if required. And all of the previous work, I can give you links to my previous work, or I can give you videos of my previous work if you require them. And that's basically it. Looking forward to working with you, but please note that we are very, very solution focused. So we take game development as a bunch of problems, and we are the solution providers. So we take game development not as game development, but as a set of problems, and we are just here to provide the solutions. Thank you very much.